Welcome back to Good Evening KU. My name is Caitlin.
And I'm Maria.
So I actually heard that this past weekend you got to do some pretty cool things with ROTC. Do you want to share some more about that?
Right, so we got to go to Spring FTX this weekend, which was basically we go in a bus to Fort Riley and we get split into like our own little platoons, which becomes your family over the weekend.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so basically the first 2 days are the most miserable. You're doing sticks lanes, which is basically where you're rucking for like however many miles until you get to basically practice like platoon raids and attacks and ambushes, and those are super fun because you get to see like people's different leadership styles, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Has like anything changed with like the COVID protocols?
Yes, actually, usually we get to ride in helicopters to FTX.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, I'm really sad that we didn't get to do that this
Right.
year, but hopefully next year we will. Actually, we also get to jump off rappel towers, so that's super fun.
Wow.
Yeah.
I probably could never. I have a fear of heights, but I will leave that to the professionals, right?
Yeah. There's also a lot of other stuff we get to do,
Yeah.
obstacle courses, a whole bunch of fun stuff that we do down there.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the weekend, you're really sad you're leaving, but also really happy because you get to sleep.
Right.
Well, there's only 3 weeks left in the semester,
I
so.
know. I mean, talk about stress. I'm a little bit too stressed right now. I mean, I thought that it was a good idea to take 18 hours. But now that I have 3 weeks left, I'm slowly regretting it. But how about you? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling ready for the semester to end,
Yeah.
but also nervous for how my classes are gonna go, like which way my grades are gonna swing.
I feel the exact same way, and it's kind of weird because I was so used to last year, actually. We were so used to being at home due to COVID, so it's kind of weird being on campus and kind of finishing up school here.
Right, yeah. Are you excited to be in person next semester?
I am, but also I've been kind of taking advantage of sleeping in late and being on Zoom, but I think it's going to be better for everybody to be in person and kind of getting back to normal.
For sure.
And also we have breaking news. There is the Chauvin trial going on right now. We don't know too much about how the end result is going to be. I know that it's happening currently, right?
Right, yeah. I've heard that they're barring windows and just really preparing for whatever the outcome is.
Right. And that's all that we can do at like this point. We're all going to be looking at it to see what happens in the next coming days. But yeah.
Yeah, so now we're gonna, after the break, throw it to LaDeja and Ashlin.
Diversity. What is diversity? It can be an umbrella term for a variety of things, ranging from diversity among different people, places, cultures, and ideas, to the way people express themselves and the way they interact with the world. In today's world, people interact with one another and share their thoughts through social media. Let's take Twitter, for example. How are people of different backgrounds, ethnicities, and sexual orientations with different political beliefs, interests, and job titles using this platform differently? Currently, celebrities are interacting with their fans on Twitter by speaking their minds, sharing their beliefs, and supporting social issues. Professional sports figures and organizations in the United States are using Twitter to support social causes and bring attention to current social matters, such as encouraging their fans to vote. Users are voicing their opinions about current issues surrounding racial inequalities, social injustice, and police brutality in the United States. There's diversity in the way people are discussing the upcoming presidential election, especially regarding their opinions of each candidate. Different news outlets are not only highlighting stories in the US, but are talking about important stories from around the world. But many Twitter users don't post about controversial matters or social issues at all. Rather, they use their platform to create memes and post funny content for entertainment. While many topics going around this app involve social issues and political opinions, Twitter creates a space where people can pull together collections of diverse thoughts, comments, opinions, goals, and even a little humor too. So how can we use this platform to express our differences? More importantly, how can we use it to learn from each other's differences today?
Welcome back. I'm LaDeja, and I'm with a very special guest, Ashlin Heiman.
Yes.
So I heard you're a freshman. How is that year going for you?
It's been interesting to say the least. Coming in, I had this certain idea of what college was going to be like. And then, when COVID hit, we had to adjust that image. So coming in, it was interesting to see how one campus and school adjusted to COVID. And then, obviously, social interactions have definitely been different because of it. You know, we have to be distanced and classes have to be distanced and separated. So there's not that same interaction with people and classmates and even just professors. But, you know, I'm trying to make the best out of it and I'm just still trying to do like I would even if COVID weren't a thing.
Yeah, for sure. So I remember my freshman year, it was just last year.
Yeah.
And I felt that I was really able to have the college experience.
Yeah.
So do you feel like you were not able to experience that?
You know, KU's doing their best to give us as normal of an experience as we can get. And I think they're doing a good job. I don't think I've missed out on, you know, opportunities. I think I've missed out on some experiences, you know, like there's Hawk Week at the beginning. I didn't get to do that. But I think KU's doing a good job of giving us, you know, as much experience. They're trying to make as many classes as they can in person, and they're trying to do their best. I've been lucky enough to have a majority of my classes in person. They are separated, but they're still in person. I think that's better than, you know, being on Zoom and online and not having that same interaction and connection.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely understand that. So have you been involved in any of the campus organizations, or have you thought about any?
No, I'm not currently involved in any. I have looked at, you know, some of the larger organizations because I do want to make those more personal connections. But I'm not currently doing that because I'm more focused on, you know, my classes and getting through those just because we don't have breaks. So it's been harder to get through that. But yeah, I'm focusing on my classes right now and getting what I need done.
Okay, so speaking of like focusing on classes,
Yes.
have you figured out any major or anything like that?
So I came in undecided. I know what I like. I like math and I like chemistry. And so I took a chemistry course last semester and I really liked it. So I was like, you know what, we're gonna do nursing. And over break, I decided I'm not gonna do nursing. That's, you know, we're gonna cap it at that. And so my dad, who's super supportive and, you know, wants to help me and wants the best for me, decided to look at some possible majors that, you know, maybe incorporated more math. And so he was looking at some business majors, and it looks like I'm probably gonna be doing something more along that line.
It's really nice that you were able to have that family support behind you. So did
Yes.
any of your family members go to KU?
Actually, interestingly enough, my dad went to KU. He went here for 1 year only, unfortunately, because he got a baseball scholarship somewhere else. And so yeah, I mean, he's the only one who's gone to KU, but my whole family like loves KU. And so it's kind of always been an idea for me to go here, to be honest. And so yeah, only him, but I have family everywhere here, so it wasn't that hard to make a choice to come here, honestly. Got an uncle 45 minutes away, got grandparents 2 hours away, so there's lots of support all around. It's not just my parents.
Yeah, so you're from Nebraska. How did
I
you
am.
become a Jayhawk fan?
Okay, so I was born in Kansas, just like my dad, just like his parents. And then I moved to Nevada, which is kind of irrelevant right now, but I'm kidding. And so then I moved to Nebraska when I was 10, went there, but we were still always watching basketball games. I remember being in Nevada watching the 2008 championship, and when we won, it was so exciting. And yeah, so we've just always kept up with KU. My dad's made sure we did. And then when we would come here, we would come to basketball games. We'd meet up with family too. So it's always just been a big part of my life, to be honest. And so it wasn't that hard to, you know, think of options. There's obviously in-state schools, but I came here, visited KU, and I was like, no, I want to go here. I felt comfortable here, and I felt like it was a good match for me.
I'm glad that you feel that way.
Thank
I'm glad
you.
to have you here. Thank you
you.
so much for coming and speaking
Yes,
with
of
me today.
course. Yeah.
We'll be back after the break with news.
Welcome back. I'm Caroline. And I'm Brooke. This is your Monday Good Evening KU News Update. The murder trial of Derek Chauvin for the death of George Floyd is set to close today. The prosecutor ended his statement by urging the jury to trust their eyes and gut.
There have been less than 6,000 reports of breakthrough COVID-19 cases among more than 84 million people fully vaccinated. The low number of new cases shows that these vaccines are working.
The Ingenuity helicopter has successfully completed its historic flight on Mars and safely landed back on the surface. This was the first powered and controlled flight on another planet.
Lawrence will get around an inch of snow tonight, with the winter weather advisory being placed into effect. The snow is expected to begin at midnight and conclude around 10 a.m.
McDonald's is partnering with BTS, the popular Korean pop band, for its next celebrity meal, which will include the U.S. debut of 2 new dipping sauces inspired by McDonald's South Korea recipes.
The Raven Bookstore will be relocating to Mass Street this July. Currently, the bookstore is open via a walk-up window at 6 East 7th Street.
And that will wrap up today's news update. Now we'll toss it to Julia for sports.
Thanks, Brooke. In sports, it was another busy weekend for KU athletics. The baseball team salvaged the 3rd game of a series with a walk-off win over Baylor. After losing 8-2 and 6-2, the Jayhawks managed to limit the Bears to just 2 runs on Sunday for a 3-2 victory. KU is now 20-15 for the season and heads to Texas this week to play UTA and TCU. In softball, the Jayhawks won the middle game of the series against Texas Tech, but dropped 2 of 3 to fall to 21-17 overall. KU will host Wichita State on Wednesday at 5 p.m. before also heading off to Texas for the next 2 weekends, with a series against Texas and then Baylor. The tennis team lost to Oklahoma State 4-2 yesterday at the Jayhawks Tennis Center to finish the regular season at 7-12. The Jayhawks will head to Waco, Texas this week for the Big 12 Conference Championships. And finally, the golf team's Ben Siegel scored a hole-in-one at the 17th hole at the Hawkeye Invitational in Iowa City. Siegel finished with a 5-under par 67 to help the Jayhawks to a 2nd place finish as a team. The Big 12 Conference Championships are next weekend in Hutchinson, Kansas. That's it for our sports update. After the break, Anna has some bad news for us, I'm afraid. Please keep watching.
You may not hear it at first, but it's there. Our chant, rising. On this summit, callings converge, voices unify into a chorus that sounds out for good, for greatness. Can you hear it?
Thanks, Julia. I don't have the best of news, but if you take a look outside right now, we do have fairly nice temperatures at around 54 with a bit of a cool breeze. And as we go into tonight, I have some bad news that we are going to get down to about 28 degrees with a little bit of breeze. And as you're wondering how much snow we're going to get, if you take a look, Kansas City, we're supposed to get around 1 to 3, but looking a little bit closer to home, Lawrence is expected to see around less than an inch to an inch. Although this is spring, we aren't going to see much accumulation because the grounds are so warm with the temperatures we've been having. So don't expect to wake up with a ton of snow on the ground, just a couple wet roads, something that we will not expect to see a lot of snow of. And looking into tomorrow, the snow should move out of the metro at around 10 to 11 a.m. before we hit the lunch rush hour. And looking into tomorrow night, we're still going to get down to cooler temperatures at around 29 degrees. Nothing that we want to see at the springtime. Although when we get to the rest of the week, we're going to see some great temperatures towards the end of the weekend. More sunshine, better than what we're going to be seeing within the next 48 hours. So stay tuned for the warmer temperatures we're going to have later this week and into next week as we say goodbye to winter for the last time and hello to spring for the rest of the semester and into the summer. That's all I have for today's weather update. Make sure to stay tuned for KU's Take Aside tomorrow at 9 a.m.